doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Ash and Alex are doing Scientology well.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ash and Alex Do Scientology, a collaboration between me, Ashley Richards, host of That's So Fucked Up, the podcast, and
me, Apostate Alex.
you always seem so much cheerier than me. I'm like, I'm Ashley Richards.
I'm Apostate Alex. Bah.
Yay!
I could do the death screamo thing. I could be more emo if you want me to.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I'm.
It's just not. Wait, you're not wearing pink.
Oh, there
Ash.
we go. That's better. Yes, I am. So I was gonna actually explain this because
Yeah, explain yourself, Ash.
this is pink.
Okay,
This is pink.
I'll have to take your word for it because I
So,
can't really see the
Yes, you
pink.
can.
No, it looks kind of white from here.
Okay, no, it's pink. It's a
Okay.
very light pink. But for all of those you listening at home, I'm wearing a TSFU crop top. It just says TSFU. It's the non-explicit version. This is a collaboration that we do. You're a YouTuber, I'm a podcaster, and we make sweet podcast and YouTube baby love. And this, okay, here, I'll be exciting now. And this is Ash
And Alex, do.
Scientology. Ra-da-da-da-da. Hey.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Hey.
We're doing it well.
So you guys, we have some bad news. Ash and Alex do
I don't think
Scientology.
it's bad news. I think it's good news.
I'm doing a bit, Alex.
Okay.
I'm doing a bit. Oh my
Sorry.
God. Jokes are the funniest when you have to explain. So bad news. Ash and Alex do Scientology. No more, you guys. But wait, there's more. It's not bad news. It's cool news because we're not doing Ash and Alex do Scientology. You know, that thing we've been doing. We're not going to do that anymore because Alex does a lot of that on his channel. That's So Fucked Up isn't really an anti-Scientology podcast. So I don't want that, continuing for too long. And Alex wants to diversify his knowledge of cults and other coercive high control groups, and so do I. Like always, it's all cults are my jam. Any cult-like group is my jam. Any religion that you fucking throw fundamentalist in front of, my jam. So we're gonna combine our jams and wants
And make marmalade.
and desires, and we're gonna make culty marmalade. Yeah, so you didn't sound super sold on the idea, my potential name, but I thought of a pretty good song.
Hit me with it. Go on.
Okay, now that I'm on the spot, I totally forgot it. Hold on. Let's talk about cults, baby. Let's talk with Axe and Ash, and let's talk with Alex and Ashley. Let's talk about cults.
Okay. All right. I think it'll grow on me.
And okay, grow on you? That's not. You're not excited. And you
It's
don't
good.
like cults and coercive control with Ash and Alex. You don't like that?
It's a little bit long.
He's not loving it.
I'm
So,
not loving it.
listeners, watchers, we're taking suggestions, but it's going to be a new monthly segment where we dive into different fucked up little groups. And
Yeah, I think for viewers on my channel, Ash and I get on so well, and we have loved dissecting Scientology. And this is by no means the end. I'm sure we will continue to discuss Scientology in future episodes at certain points. But I think for me, I'm now 4 months into my YouTube creator journey, and I'm still very much finding my feet on YouTube as to what my channel is here for, what I'm doing with it, and I can talk about Scientology till the cows come home. And this is by no means me redirecting my channel at all, but I think this is a good way to begin to diversify what I talk about on my channel and what I'm doing with it, and see how it goes, because, you know, I am really interested, as Ash is. We're in, you know, different cults, coercive groups, and for me, what I really enjoy is learning about people, right? The way people think and their mindsets. And that's very much what I try and do with my Scientology content, is help people understand the mindset of someone in Scientology, and try and provide a greater understanding of how that person is thinking and how you can end up in the place where, like me, you're on staff and you signed your life away to the Church of Scientology, because
For
it all
1
sounds
billion years.
a billion years. It sounds ridiculous. Like, you know, you wouldn't walk into any sort of job in an office and sign a 1 billion year contract. That's just silly. So I like to go on that journey and kind of help people understand how you get from being a non-Scientologist to signing your life away. And that's what really interests me. And I think that interest isn't specific to Scientology. And so Ash and I were talking about how we both want to diversify and talk about different topics and things that are in a similar vein. And so this is what we're going to do. As Ash mentioned, we're going to do a monthly segment, not weekly now. And we're going to talk about all sorts of things to do with cults, coercive groups, MLMs. We have an episode about Nexium coming up very soon, which we've teased a couple of times, and we're still not quite there to drop who the guest is, I don't think.
This person is a busy person, and we're just excited to have them. So, you guys, we're going to call this the bad hair episode, because Alex was like, Ashley, can I go get my hair cut? Can we push back? Like, I look like a little Muppet. You didn't say that, but English people say Muppet a lot, so I wanted to switch. I wanted to stick it in there. And then I was like, oh my gosh, can you please go get your hair cut? Because I forgot that I still look like Eminem, and I'm dyeing my hair later today. And basically, both of us were not feeling great about our hair, but we're like, well, we're in this together today. So
this is the bad hair episode.
Yeah, it's a little, you know, so I was kind of joking about like, oh, bad news, it's over, because it's not over. It's just changing. And I'm very excited about where it's going. Because if you listen to my podcast, then you know that cults and culty groups are a big part of my jam. I mean, I just did a month-long That's So Fucked Up Presents Jonesin' for Jonestown. We looked at the whole fucking thing, Dawn Brody and I, from Health History I'd Like to Fuck. She's amazing. Now I'm doing a whole month on MLMs. I want to do like I'd like to do some deep diving into the troubled teen industry. Jesus Christ, you know, right wing, like far right extremist fundamentalist Christianity. I mean, the list goes on and on. I was literally thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Probably almost most everyone has been in or very close to a cult or cult-like group at some time. Think about it. You were in Scientology. I was in AA, which, like I've discussed on other episodes, was great for a couple years. And then it wasn't great when I started feeling like shamey and like outside of the group and other weird stuff. Oh my God, MLM season has to be the most relatable fucking season. I've had so many people be like, I was in one. I went to several parties. Oh my God, I've bought so many MLM products. And then just, you know, you're in a meditation group that gets a little fucking weird. Been there. Like, I just think that probably most people have been very close to, or have known someone personally who's been in a high control coercive group. And we know that these are fucking very serious. They're like insidious. They fly under the radar and they're super life ruining.
I think there's a difference to be drawn there, though, between a cult and a high control or coercive group, right? For example, you know, if you are a gym freak and you got your little group of buddies and you go to the gym and it's a bit culty, like that's very definitely has culty aspects to it, and it, you know, those sorts of groups can be defined as cults, but they're not necessarily coercive or high control. In the same way something like, you know, Jonestown or Scientology or Nexium or whatever would be considered, because there are aspects, it can be a cult without being controlling or coercive. And I think that's a really key difference to make. There is nothing wrong with being in a cult, because the word cult comes from culture, right? Groups of people doing stuff together and being like-minded, and that's where the word initially comes from. And so, yeah, you have these little culty groups, and they're all a bit kind of, we do things a bit differently, a bit weird, and we've all got those little groups in our friendships.
Well, you and I are kind of definitely a part of.
We've got our own little cult.
Yeah, you. Apostate Alex and SPTV is a fucking cult. That's so fucked up. Is a cult. It is.
SPTV is a little bit culty, but there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because it's
on a
not
spectrum.
Controlling. It's a spectrum, exactly. There's nothing coercive or controlling about the SPTV community. In fact, actually, everyone's really supportive. And if I was to say I'm not doing YouTube videos anymore, yeah, people would be upset. But I don't expect I would feel pressured to continue making videos even though I don't want to, or whatever. Like, there isn't that control aspect of it. But it is a little bit culty. And that's the difference between a cult and a coercive group.
But yes, well, so not all cults are coercive groups, but all coercive groups are cults. Yeah. I feel like that kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes sense. So it's like, okay, gender, sexuality, autism, fucking cultiness. I think just like so many things are on a fucking spectrum, and people want to place things in black or white, man or woman, cult or community, you know.
I think that's the thing, is
gay
is
or straight. It's like, you know, autistic or just not. It's great.
It's about the spectrum, right? And culty thinking is black and white, right? And that's the thing we see with high control groups like Scientology. It's, you're either with us or you're against us. You're a Scientologist or you're an anti-Scientologist. There's no room for grey area. In Scientology, it's all about, you know, you have to apply it as per what LRH said, and that's the only way to do it. And it's black and white. It's binary thinking. And that's culty thinking. Whereas as soon as you start thinking about things with nuance and with a grey area and as a spectrum, it suddenly becomes a lot less culty. So things like gender and sexuality, right? Those are things that are spectrums, right? People can identify however they want to identify, and people can fall in love with and like and be attracted to whoever they are attracted to and whoever they want to like and fall in love with. There's nothing wrong with that, but there isn't a right way or a wrong way. There isn't even a way A and a way B, because that's just the way society has developed to become, and the way that its thinking has evolved over time. You know, marriage between a man and a woman, black and white thinking. We're now in this territory of like opening up to this nuance as a general society, really, and accepting that not everyone falls in to category A or B. Like, it's okay to identify however you want to and like and whatever, be attracted to whoever you want to be. It doesn't have to fall into a category. And the fact that there is this pressure to put a category into it makes it a little bit culty. And I'm a big preacher of, I don't care, right, how you identify or what label you put on yourself, because it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't judge you or think about you based on the label you put on yourself.
It doesn't
I think of you
affect
as
my life
Ashley.
how you want to live yours.
I think of you as Ash, right? I wouldn't care if you identified as a pancake, right? Because I care about you and I'm your friend, and it's not going to make a difference to me how you identify, right?
Maybe I do identify as a pancake some days.
But that's totally fine. And I respect that. I respect however anyone wants to identify or whatever sexuality they may be. I respect that decision, but I'm not going to treat someone differently because of that.
No. And that's why all the good cults should combine and be nice. Because we realize that...
Is that where you're going with this?
Yeah, I'm just trying to broaden my cult at the end of the day. So I'm like, so listen, it can be really good. Join us.
Membership is only £500,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. And listen, we only require $1 million year contract. So don't worry. It's a lot more chill over here. No, it's just fucking
and
crazy.
We don't believe you come back. We think when you die, you die. You're not coming back.
Dude, when you are like talking about shit, I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like I'm having a little bit of awakening of like how culty AA was. Because it's you're in or you're out. You're with us or you're not. This is the only way. This is the only way. The big book is the Bible. You Ooh, that might be interesting to do sometime. Ash does the fucking the big.
Can we
book
do the
of
12-step program? That'd be so fascinating.
Oh my god, we should. I can tell you about the steps and like tell you about going through them and stuff. Totally. But it's just it's like kind of it's interesting, like same mentality, you know, like you're in or you're out. And this is the only way. And it works if you work it, meaning if it's not working, you're not fucking working it. It's whoa, right? I mean, so it's like, and how many people have gone to 12-step meetings? Everybody has been cult adjacent at some point in their life. I swear, like most people. Or they've gone to a church that was a little bit weird, you know, like maybe they got a little extra. I don't know. Listen, I'm not here to judge. I am, but in like just in a way to spread awareness, you know, like I'm using, let's say critical, because
critical thinking. That's what we want to promote.
Yes, that's it. Not judgment. Critical thinking. That's what I was trying to say.
This is not going to turn into a political discussion, but it's worth mentioning, right? It's a similar thing, whether you're right wing or left wing or whatever. I'm not getting into that discussion, but I'm saying that as soon as you choose a side and you are of the belief that the other side is wrong and this is the only way to do it, that is the binary thinking. That's the culty thinking. Actually, a better way to approach it is critically thinking and looking at, okay, what do I agree with? What do I disagree with? Challenge yourself and challenge your thinking and ask yourself questions. Does that sit right with me? Do I agree with that? How do I feel about that? These are questions that we don't naturally ask ourselves as people because we're never taught to do that as part of our education system.
You're asking
right?
a lot of people, Alex.
But this is what I mean. It's really simple questions that you don't have to have the answer to, but just asking yourself those questions is how to get yourself to start critically thinking. And that is how you avoid falling into this binary way of thinking with not just politics, but with anything that you're approaching in life. Just ask yourself these questions, because otherwise you do just fall into one way of thinking and you don't even realize it.
I like to say that I'm awake, not woke. Put that on a t-shirt. Am I right? Like, don't be all like, I know everything and I'm right and you're wrong. Be like awake and be like, I'm open to learning and bettering myself and teaching And this has like become like an episode on how to be a good
Yeah.
person or something. I don't know. Let's take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, I mean, this episode isn't, it's
It's a bit
not
of a
like,
shit show.
it's not
I'm
like
joking.
topical. It's more like
It's a
letting
bad
you
hair
guys
show.
know that our hair is not in its best form right now, and that we're going to start looking at other groups besides Scientology. That's the main point of this. But we're also going to talk about Jared Leto and shit. So, like, stick around. Why not? Hi, guys. We are back.
Can we do a little bit of a recap of
Please.
what we've done so far?
What happened? I blacked out.
because this is episode 9, right? And
Yes.
that's 9 episodes that we've done on Scientology. Or
Is
8
this
episodes.
episode 9?
This is episode 9. Well, plus the
I
Danny
feel like it's
Masterson one, so
10.
10.
I feel
Because
like
Danny
this is
Masterson
episode-
was 0.5.
Yeah.
Because we did it out
Yeah.
of order. So it's
So
our
this-
10th episode.
Yes.
But technically episode 9. But I think it would be good, and I'm interested to know, let's do a bit of reflection, right? On the journey we've been on so far.
Yeah.
So, Ash, I want to know from you, what is the most... I've got a couple of questions. Let's start with this one. What's the most fucked up thing you've learned about Scientology?
Well, I mean, I feel like you really threw me a curveball, like right off the bat.
Your show is called That's So Fucked Up, Ash.
I know, but you're asking me to find the most fucked up thing.
In your
Okay.
opinion, from what you've learned and what we talked about.
I think the most disturbing thing probably was if your life is not ruined by the bridge to freedom, like that shit's hilarious. Like, I'm so sorry, really, for the people who paid money to get up that and had their life ruined. And I totally understand that, like, the craziness is slowly introduced. Like, I'm not victim blaming at all. I'm just like, that shit, like, everything behind it's fucked up. But, like, the actual just, like, bananas of we've all heard it now. Jesus is a pedo. LRH is the reincarnation of Buddha. Xenu is like this like evil dude who had a volcano and he put a bunch of like alien spirits in there, and then they're like attaching to us and like sucking our life energy out, and then like I'm at the end and now they're like, that's amazing. Now you've come to the point where you have no idea who the fuck you are. So like face surface value, that's all hilarious. The damage that it does to people psychologically, emotionally, mentally, lifelong, financially, Jesus Christ. I mean, I think as a whole, that's the most fucked up, but that's very broad. So if I'm going to say a singular thing, 2 things. The whole we're all the same age in different sized bodies, allowing for pedophilia. Man, cults love fucking kids. It's really weird. It's all of them are into it. I don't get it. Like, that's probably the worst part about most of them.
I think with Scientology, it's not that it's not like Aaron Hubbard has ever been accused of anything like that. It's not like it's part of its nature, unlike other cults and coercive groups, but it allows for that to happen. Scientology creates an environment where those things can be justified and can be gotten away with. And that's why it's a problem, because you shouldn't be given an environment where people of that nature can go and do those things and get away with it.
Yeah, because then you also are in a self-policing environment where you cannot go to the authorities, which brings me to my next most fucked up, the filing with a yawn. Just like the verbiage of that is like the worst fucking thing. It's like, oh, you got somebody murdered. Oh, Will Smith murdered your cousin. No, that's like really fucked up. Will definitely take care of that. Who the fuck was his cousin anyways, you know?
Yeah.
Like, legit. You guys, I'm not saying Will Smith murdered his cousin. I should make that very clear.
No,
But,
but it's true. Like, the basis of Scientology ethics is very much like, look, if you're producing, if you're doing good work and you're getting people in, and you got to remember, Scientology ethics isn't written to be applied just to Scientology. It's written as though one day this should be the way the world is run, like law. Like, this is a better way of running the world than the law, right? Because it's fairer and it's more ethical. And you think about it this way, it's all geared towards production. If you're producing well, you're selling stuff, you're whatever your job is, right? If you're doing well at it, then you have protection and you won't get in trouble. Which, as a concept, I can kind of get the idea of, like, you know, imagine you're at work and you're doing really well and you make a little slip up, a little mistake, right? Then your boss will probably be like, oh, it's okay because you're doing good. I won't, worry about it. But if you're always making mistakes, then there comes a point when your boss is going to go, you're always making mistakes. You need to, pick up your game a bit. So that concept, there's nothing wrong with it. But Scientology takes it to the extreme and says, no. If you're producing well, you're upstat, you have protection. You can get away with murder, which in itself allows for horrible things to happen. But the thing you got to remember is that does all come crumbling down on you the moment you are no longer upstat. The moment your stats do start to crash and you do make a slip up, then all of those errors and mistakes and things that you've had happen in your file that have been filed with a yawn, well, then it's a big chunk of stuff that they throw on your desk and go, not only did you trip up this guy in the hallway, you also did this, and this over the last 6 months, and now we're going to get you in trouble for all of it.
So it's also blackmail. Genius.
100%.
Genius. I mean, what? There's the smart fuckers, really. They couldn't trick all these people if they weren't. That's the thing about these goddamn cult leaders is, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they're not even that smart. They're just like really good con men. Like, they're really good at selling their snake oil.
Especially L. Ron Hubbard. If you look at Scientology, right, all of the, I'm going to backtrack, not all of the majority of the things that make Scientology look bad and make it really, really harmful and destructive, there are easy fixes to, right? For example, Sea Org members get $50 a week. You've committed your life to this thing and you don't get paid. So therefore, you're always going to have a hanging over your head that if you do ever want to leave, you kind of can't because you don't have any money. You haven't had any savings or whatever. Simple solution, pay all your staff minimum wage. Suddenly, those staff members are going to be as equally committed, but if they do ever want to leave, they have options because they've had wealth, they've got a pension, they've got healthcare and all these other things. So their general well-being is going to be much better. Actually, they're probably going to be more productive. And it's a simple solution that makes the whole Sea Org experience just a little bit better. I'm not saying it's a solution. There are lots more harmful and horrible things that go on in the Sea Org, but a simple solution like that would fix a lot of problems, right? There are simple things that Scientology just don't do and they never will do. And that's because the policy is you have to follow what LRH said. And if LRH said it's $50 a week, that's it. And it's never changing. So they're shooting themselves in the foot. So yes, they are very intelligent. And L. Ron Hubbard was an intelligent man and came up with this really complex and very smart system. But at the same time, it's got major flaws that have simple solutions that will never happen. If you give your Sea Org members the option to leave, you sign your life away, right? Like a nun or a monk in the Catholic Church, right? You sign your life to serve the church. But when you get to a certain age, if you decide I want to retire, the church go, fantastic, have a nice retirement. Here's a retirement home and a pension plan and all of this, right? You can still commit yourself to work for the church and do the work of God, but you are allowed to retire when you're like 80 years old or whatever, right?
Wait, so if you're in the Sea Org, if you're like 95 and you can still get out of bed, they're like, you better go fucking greet people, Walter.
Hello, Carol.
100%.
Jesus.
There are instances of Sea Org members, right? If you like, older Sea Org members are sent off to scummy, horrible nursing homes, right? That are just scraping past the minimum required standard to be legal because Scientology don't want to pay for that. So when you get to the point of needing nursing care, they just ship you off to some care home and they'll never speak to you again and no one will ever visit you or anything. But until you reach that point, if you can write letters, you're going to be writing letters, even if it's from your little bunk bed in your Sea Org berthing that you're sharing with 4 other people in the Sea Org and have done for the last 40 years. Like, this is the thing. Very simple solution, right? Allow your Sea Org members to retire when they reach retirement age. And they will
Alex-
probably still continue to work for the church and do good work.
Why are you giving Scientology tips on...
Because these
They're
things will
watching.
never happen. Yeah, but these things will never happen because it's built into Scientology to not do these things. And this is what I'm saying is quite fucked up, is that there are a lot of really simple solutions to a lot of their problems, but they're never going to do them and it will never happen. Which is why, yes, it's a smart system and it was intelligent, but it's fundamentally flawed in so many ways. And we haven't even gone into like what I think about the actual policies and religion of Scientology itself and that destructive whole thing, which we're not going to get into now. This is just an example of how, yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just thinking that after I was like, well, I mean, he was pretty intelligent. I just started thinking about what you read me from OT8.
Which one? About being the Antichrist?
I think so, dude. One of his ones where, like, I think you might have read me too, where we were like, so this motherfucker was obviously tripping. Because what is this?
That's the Zenu story. I was like, yeah, he's totally tripping balls 100%. You were like, really? Was he really? I was like, let me read it to you. And then I was like, you cannot read this and
be like, that was a sober man.
This is a sober man. That leads me into the second question I had for you, which is what was your favorite Ashenites Do Scientology episode?
Oh, dude, like OT8. The last
OT8.
one.
Okay.
Is that no? The last one we did was about the all the vaults and how hopefully Scientology doesn't like continue past
But it will.
But well, hopefully nobody finds them. Shit. Because like we're gonna extinct ourselves. I don't think that's not gonna happen. Like,
yeah.
I mean, not in our lifetime, but I definitely think humans like. I think we'll go through another extinction at some point. Have you ever heard of that fucking royal family that just like kept fucking to keep the money in the family until they inbred themselves into extinction?
Isn't that like... No, I'm
Most
not going to
of
say
them?
that publicly. I'm British and I have massive adoration and respect for the royal family. So I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, do you just have to say that or else they're going to come like kidnap you in the night? You just have to say
I'm not
that
American,
publicly.
but I'm going to plead the fifth.
He's like, I love the royal family. They're so relatable. They're just like us. I adore them. Okay, Alex. Blink twice if you're in trouble.
I've got my Scientology smile on again. It's all great.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. The question was, what was my favorite part?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a quick commercial and then I'll tell you more about my favorite stuff. Okay, hi. So yeah, I think so Xenu, that was an OT8. That was like OT3. And then we did 4, 5, 6, and 7 as well.
We did.
Those aren't memorable to me.
We did
3 and 8. Or what's up?
OT preps 1, 2, and 3, and then we did 4, 5, and 6. and 7, and then 8 had its own episode.
Okay, well that was like what I was here for. That and the Xeno story.
Yeah, I think my favorite by far was the OT3 episode, the Xenu story, simply because your facial expressions and the questions you asked, like, editing that episode was 4 solid hours of pure laughter. And I remember recording
That's
it. There was
fun.
a bit when I cracked up laughing, like, how on earth did, how was I part of this group? This is insane when you read it like this in this context. And then editing it, I was like, I had to take a break from editing because I couldn't see the screen because I was laughing so much.
I love that. Ooh, now I'm excited for it. I'm like, what's going to happen this week? I don't remember. But yeah, so those are my favorite things that I learned. And fuck, I feel like I had something.
You had a whole plan for this episode that you didn't tell me about, and I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
Oh, no, the only plan was to tell people, like, in a tricky way that Ash and Alex Do Scientology is done.
Oh.
And then be like, haha, just kidding, though. It's
That was it.
It's just a remix. Oh, sorry. Lackluster.
I was like, I was building up. I was like,
oh, no.
thinking you were going to drop some bombshell on me and be like,
I'm sorry. I got
boom, boom,
nothing,
boom.
really.
Okay. Can we talk about Jared Leto?
I would love to talk about Jared Leto. I wanted to do a whole TSFU Presents called Let's Talk About Leto. But A, I'm afraid of him and his legal team. B, I'm afraid of the echelon, which we could talk about right now. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of sucks that like my life's mission is to, my biggest passion is to expose cult-like groups, and I'm also a total baby and don't like people being mean to me, and definitely gonna go piss some people off. So I better tough it up, honestly.
Who cares what they think? You're speaking your truth, and no one should treat you differently for that.
My truth is
Bonkers.
it is.
So,
But it's cool.
I used to be, and I still kind of am, a 30 Seconds to Mars fan. Not as much as I was.
No,
but when I was a
you're
teenager.
not. You can't.
Let
Alex.
me tell you the story.
But you can't still listen to 30 Seconds to Mars. Listen, I don't believe in like cancel culture, except I kind of do because he's canceled. And I'll tell you
30
why.
Seconds to Mars,
Okay.
right, had, for those of you who don't know, they're a band, right?
Led by
And
Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto is the lead singer. He's also an actor. He was in Fight Club and a few other big movies like
He
that.
was in Fight Club?
Yeah. The
Okay, not gonna
blonde
lie.
guy.
Okay, I don't remember that. I definitely
Yeah.
need to rewatch Fight Club. But he did an amazing job in Dallas Buyers Club. I hate
He's
to
an
give him
excellent
kudos
actor.
because I hate
Yeah.
him. But okay.
Well, his band have this cult following called the Echelon, and I've got 2 stories to tell you about Jared Leto. The first one is when I was in Scientology as a teenager, this was peak Alex liking 30 Seconds to Mars.
Hell yeah.
And at that time, their slogan, which you could buy hoodies and t-shirts and stuff with this written on, and I really wanted one. It literally was a black hoodie that just said, "This is not a cult." And the internal dialogue I had with myself about whether or not I could buy that and wear it, because I'm in Scientology and people think it's a cult, and I can wear this because it's not a cult. And actually, if I wear this around, then I'm actually kind of saying it's the truth, it's not a cult. But also, it's not actually about Scientology, it's about this band that I like. And anyway, decided not to buy and wear this hoodie because I didn't want people to associate me wearing this hoodie as some sort of statement about Scientology being or not being a cult, because that brings up the question of, is it a cult? If I walk into a Scientology church with a hoodie that says this is not a cult, people are going to go, oh, do people think it's a cult then? Right? Not going to happen.
No.
So didn't do that.
You can't wear that to work. That's not work.
No. So there was a big dialogue, but I was a huge 30 Seconds to Mars fan, and that was a little funny story. But the main one, right?
Real quick, I have to ask you. Do you know that they've now rebranded to Yes, This Is a Cult?
No, they haven't.
Bitch, yes, they have.
Right, I'm buying a fucking hoodie right now.
It says, though, as far back as 2013, 30 Seconds to Mars used the phrase, yes, this is a cult, to describe the undying adoration of their fans, the echelon. So I feel like maybe you're wrong.
Well,
I'm confused.
I very specifically remember a hoodie that said this is not a cult, and I had a whole, this was like traumatic for me, Ash, right? The internal conversation and argument and emotional turmoil that this one hoodie I never even bought caused me.
You thought about
Honestly,
it for weeks.
Months. No, literally months, Ash.
Ugh.
Like,
well, I'm glad you didn't buy it because, okay, have you seen the pictures of like the retreats though, where he's dressed like Jesus with like long brown hair and a long brown beard and is in white Jesus robes, and everybody's sitting on the floor looking up to him while he like gives sermons? Have you seen these pictures?
so Ash,
Okay, what?
I
Hold
have
on. Wait,
seen-
can you give me 1 second?
no.
Martin! I really want a drink.
So, Ash.
You were at that retreat.
No, I almost went, but no, that's not the story. Right, so I look at pictures like this, and I look at Jared Leto, and my internal feeling is this guy has taken DMT or a load of acid or something and had some spiritual awakening, and I low-key think that he does genuinely believe to some extent that he might, not necessarily he thinks he's Jesus, but he thinks he's something special in
Like
a
a prophet.
spiritual way. A
Like
prophet,
a prophet
of some
or
kind.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, he's a performer, he's an actor, he's a musician. He's playing on that. He's playing this role publicly, and he's fucking loving it, right? That's one half of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which you then have an opinion about whether that's right or wrong, and whether or not that's an ego trip or not. That's a whole separate debate, which was completely quashed in my mind when I met Jared Leto.
When did you meet him?
So,
Because I bet he's evolved in his fucking cultiness, bro.
I used to work at a company that has an office, and there was an event space next to it, and we'd often have guests come to the event space and through the VIP entrance or whatever, and they'd come through the office, right? I kid you not, I swear to Xenu, right?
We like Xenu. Xenu Stan right here.
There we go. So I swear to him that I didn't know Jared Leto was coming that day. I didn't know it was him, had no inkling whatsoever. I was sat there at my desk on my computer getting on with some work, right? Focused.
Out of
And the
Scientology at this point.
Yeah, I was out of Scientology at this
Okay.
point. Yeah.
How many years ago was this?
I was okay, so I was off staff, but I still considered myself a Scientologist.
Okay. So what year was
Anyway.
this ish?
2014.
Okay.
So I'm sat at my desk, right? And the door is like behind me, right?
Mhm.
I can't see anything. I kid you not, Ash. This is the closest to a spiritual experience I've ever had, right? No, don't roll your eyes, because this is what happened. And it's still to this day, to this day, it
Okay.
fucks me up in the head. I still don't understand it, and it still freaks me out. I was there at my desk on my computer typing, and I suddenly, all of the hairs on the back of on my back stood up, and I felt this like tingling sensation. I literally kid you not. And then I suddenly felt this really overwhelming sense of like calm, like everything's fine. All of my anxieties and stresses and everything gone, right? And I was like, oh, that's weird. Anyway, and I carried on with my work, and then I felt a breeze, and I looked up, and Jared Leto walks past right behind my desk and off into the event space.
So
What
you-
the fuck is that
I
about?
don't know. You think
He enters the room, and I have this weird spiritual sensation, and I'm still to this day like, what the fuck? And then I see him posting his pictures where he thinks he's Jesus, and I'm like, I'm not going to say that he is, but I definitely had some sort of spiritual experience when I was in the same room as him. I didn't even know it was him. I didn't know anyone had even walked into the room. I just suddenly had this feeling, and then looked up, and it coincided with Jared Leto walking into the room. And now he's walking around saying he's Jesus. And Ash, I'm torn. Maybe he fucking is.
I'm sorry, I'm dying. Okay, hold on. I love you. Okay. I really no, this is super interesting now, because this makes me really wonder if there's some sort of like psychological phenomenon where if somebody like truly believes that they are like powerful, that okay, because think about how many like cult leaders and like, you know, gurus that end up raping all their fucking female yoga students. Like think of, okay, this is why. Okay, hold on. Listen, I have a theory. So I was just brushing up on Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, that motherfucker. You guys, Osho, okay? Stop posting Osho quotes. He was a horrible cult leader. He just rebranded and did a great job. But let's take another quick commercial break. And when we get back, I will tell it to you. I know you're going to have to wait forever. Okay, guys, we're back. We just got back from like a 9-hour commercial break. I've been
It's
keeping
like basically a different day.
Alex on the edge of his seat. So there are scientific reasons as to why people had certain experiences, I'm sure in many groups, but I know just because I've been researching it, like with Rajneesh. Like he talked in this way, like it's a, I wish that I had these fucking notes in front of me, but he's talked in a certain kind of cadence that would put people into a trance-like state. Also, these types of meditations that he would have them do where they would like get all the chaos out of their body or whatever and then like go into a state of calm. Like it was nothing about like his presence or anything. It was like scientific processes going on in these people's brains. So I'm wondering if there's something to like when somebody has a godlike presence, whether it's because they're a prophet or they're one of the world's biggest celebrities, maybe they just like believe that they're so much that they just like give off an air of like, this
So,
is me.
Ash,
Yeah.
you have to remember, right? This happened almost I've been thinking about this for a decade.
And
right?
the hoodie.
I have processed this in my mind, every avenue that you could go down, right? I've thought about all of this.
You've thought about
And
the
it
chemical
still-
processes
It
that might have
still
happened.
boggles my mind because, right, David Miscavige, prime example, leader of Scientology. He's
Yeah.
very short, right? Like,
That's like the main thing about Dave. Short guy.
he is.
Uh-huh.
And he hates being called short,
Of
but
course
he is.
he does.
Right? He's literally like 5'1" or 2" or something.
Hey,
right?
no hate to our
I'm short. I'm
short men.
5'5", right?
Okay.
I have no hate on short people. But he's shorter than me, and that's short, right? But you can't help being short. I get it. I'm ginger. I'm short, right? I've had a lot of bullying in my life. So David Miscavige, he's very short, right? But
I'm so interested as to what that has to do with anything. Perfect. Tell
he
me.
walks into a room,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
In the Scientology building, and the one thing everybody agrees upon is he's short, but he has a big presence, right?
Yeah.
He walks into the room and everyone knows he's the guy in charge, right? And it's just like you say, this air he has about him.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that is very much to do with how he presents himself, how he stands, what he wears, the way he carries himself,
Mm-hmm.
but also couple into that the opinion everybody has of this guy. If he walks into a church, everyone knows he's a leader. Everyone's going to be like, oh my God, it's a leader. And they're going to feel something just because of who he is, right?
Yeah.
If David Miscavige put on a hoodie and went to McDonald's and no one knew who he was, I doubt people would have that same feeling in McDonald's of like, oh, this guy's got a big presence, right? Because the people sitting in McDonald's aren't Scientologists, so they don't have that emotional reaction. And the thing that's still fucking me up about this Jared Leto experience is I did not know
Right.
it was him. I had this thing happen, right? When I was looking at my computer screen, I didn't even know someone had come in the door, right? Then I looked up and saw Jared Leto, and I was like, oh, cool, it's Jared Leto. And then he walked on by, and then in my head, all the cogs started turning and clicking, and
was he already like claiming to be Jesus back then?
No, this was on the brink of him like starting to I think he was just starting to grow his hair and his beard a bit. Like he hadn't gone full Jesus, but
okay.
This is what I mean. It's not like I saw Jared Leto and thought, oh my God, I'm a big fan. He's cool, and had this emotional response. I had no idea anyone was even in the bloody room, right? And had this thing happen at the same time he walked in the door. And that is something that I think is interesting to explore, because I think that's more of a spiritual thing rather than a presence, confidence, where you carry yourself kind of thing.
Okay, so I feel really fucking compelled to like find a scientist who knows about this stuff and see
if
anyone
anyone
we can get
is
it
watching,
figured out.
If anyone's watching or listening to this, please, I've been thinking about this for 10 years. I'm not losing sleep over it, right? And
I'll be
to
losing
honest,
sleep over it.
well, I probably did at the beginning, but I'm at the point now where I look at that and go, that was a really weird experience. And it could have been, I don't know, the way the stars were aligned that day, or something completely unrelated. And let's be honest, it probably is something that was a coincidence, like, you know, the door opened and I had a breeze and I felt a bit cold. And at the same time, I don't know, the coffee I had earlier kicked in. Suddenly I felt like I'm there. You know what I mean? It could have been, it's more likely something like that had happened, right? But the timing, coincidentally, with it happening just before or just as he walks into the room, and it being Jared Leto with this whole Jesus perception that he has about himself, like, that is something that is interesting to me that I would like to explore. So if you are an expert in any of this sort of thing, please get in touch.
Please get in touch.
I want to hear other people's thoughts on it. I've told several friends and I've told people this story before, but I've never spoken to someone who
thinks Jared
knows
Leto's a cult
anything about
leader.
this shit. Huh?
To somebody who actually thinks Jared Leto's a cult leader.
I think he is a little bit culty for sure. And that's what I mean. I'm not judging him or thinking about him in any particular way. I just in my head,
he's just had a lot of sexual assault allegations. And I say allegations to keep myself legally safe. Allegations. Okay. Right. Especially by minors, like young girls. So anybody who's a fucking sexual predator, in my mind, is not any sort of holy person and should get fucking castrated. Literally,
Well, this
I believe
is what
that.
I'm saying, is my description of events just here does not in any way form or describe an opinion I have of him. I
Right.
don't sit here in my daily life thinking, I had that experience, my life has changed, Jared Leto is Jesus, right? No, right? It didn't,
Thank
it
God.
affected me, and it was a weird thing, but it wasn't so impactful that I was like, oh my God, I need to follow this guy. Like, I like his music and whatever. I don't really have an opinion on the guy. And I don't know enough about these allegations for me to possibly comment at this stage. But like, I just find it interesting that he has this Jesus persona, and I had this experience. That doesn't in any way justify or, say it's okay to do what he's allegedly done. Like, it's completely separate. I'm just saying I had this experience, and I find it interesting that it's coupled with him thinking he's Jesus, because
No,
maybe
it's
he
very
actually
interesting.
is. And according to Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard, Jesus was a pedo anyway. So yeah.
I did an episode on Jared Leto, if anybody does want to hear about the allegations. It was episode 92 called Cult Leader, Jared Leto, ... Yes, Jared Leto. So check that out if you're into hearing more about why I think he sucks and why I'm irritated that the kill is so catchy.
Did you know that the music video for From Yesterday was the first, I think it's the first music video to ever be filmed inside the Forbidden City in China?
I did not. Well, I mean, he must be Jesus then if he got that hooked up, right?
I'm making no claims that I think he's Jesus, but I did have a spiritual experience in his presence. Just saying.
Listen, you guys, even if you don't know, if
I'm
you
going to lose
know
so many
somebody,
subscribers from this episode.
they're like, okay, we thought this guy had his shit together. He's lost the plot. Listen, no, I feel like there's something scientific, and which is funny because I actually am often a believer that like not everything can be explained with science, and that there are a lot of like weird stuff in this world that whether they be paranormal or just, I don't know, there's a lot of shit we can't explain. So, listen, sometimes change sucks, but this is a good change. Don't be scared, you guys. We won't be seeing you weekly, which is sad, but we'll still be seeing you monthly. And with more varied stuff, which is really cool. So I would say it's a win. Because, my people still keep getting to hear you, and your people might learn some new things about some different cuckoo groups.
Your people.
We're diversifying our portfolios. We're cult leaders. We've admitted it.
My followers, my parishioners.
Yeah, your followers will go follow me. And
no, I think, look, for me, this is exciting for me because since day one, I've always said I'm trying to find my feet with my channel. And I think this is actually a good opportunity to try something new and do a little bit of diversification, see how it goes. And who knows what's going to come from it. I did an interview with Shlisan Solo. I've done actually a couple of interviews with her, former Mormon from Cults to Consciousness, and they're actually among my best performing videos on YouTube. So there is clearly an audience there that is interested, and there is obviously a connection there between my Scientology experience and another coercive group. So for me,
have we played Cult Bingo?
Yeah, we did. We did the bingo.
It's all the same shit.
I don't want to constrain myself to just Scientology stuff. And I also don't want to jump and head dive deep into something and change the whole channel, because that's not what I'm about. So I'm going to do a bit of this with you. I think this is a good opportunity. Once a month, we're going to get together just like we have been doing every week, but now once a month, and we're going to explore some different stuff. And if you guys like it, then maybe I'll do more of that.
They'll like it. They're going to love it.
Yeah.
They'll love it. So you guys look out for that. That'll be coming out real soon. We don't know exactly, but it'll be once a month. So don't
And
worry.
thank you for all of your support thus far
Yeah.
on the Ash and Alex Do Scientology journey.
I think we did it
And
well.
It's a bit emotional, this, isn't it, actually?
No, I'm not.
Because this is...
Because I
Ash
feel
and
like
Alex...
I'll see you in like 2 weeks. I don't feel...
Well, yeah, but this is... This is Ash and Alex Do Scientology signing off.
But... Yeah, but it's like when one door closes, another one opens. So I'm not sad because we're going to sign on in like a couple of weeks and be like, have another really cool, catchy song. Watch out for that, you guys. Wow, I'm just a cold-hearted bitch today, huh? I feel like that's how I come off. I'm just like, you're crazy. Jared Leto's a pedo. He's not Jesus at all. Maybe he is. Look, I've admitted I'm a judgy bitch. I don't know. I'm less open-minded than Alex. If you're watching here on Alex's channel, love you. Thank you for being with us. Please go listen to my podcast. I cover a fuck ton of cults and coercive high control groups, just weird ones, like when communities get a little too cliquey, all kinds of stuff. So head on over there. You can find me on all streaming platforms. That's So Fucked Up. And you can find us all over social media at TSFU the podcast. And on our website, tsfuthepodcast.com. We're easy to find. We're all over the place.
Yeah, and as I said, as we both said, this isn't the end. There will be another one of these in a month's time, and we'll continue to do this monthly. So this is not the last of Ash that you are all going to see. We love Ash, and we're going to continue doing shit well together. So go and check her out.
If you're listening on my feed and you're digging the Scientology shit, there's plenty more where that came from with Alex. And he talks to a lot of cool people. Also, he's done some really cool Mormon stuff. You guys know I'm fucking obsessed with that shit. But go to YouTube, Apostate Alex. Subscribe, rate, review. Do that for both of us, please. We love it. And that's Ash and Alex signing off from doing Scientology well for now. We salute you, friends. I don't know why. That feels very Sea Org. Fuck that. Like, let's peace out. Peace. Oh, wow. Okay, that's aggressive. You guys,
That's the fuck Scientology.
Oh, okay. I was like, geez, that's really rude to our listeners and viewers, Alex.
No, we love the listeners and viewers.
Okay, I thought you were giving them the double bird. I was like, yikes. No. Fuck Scientology. We love you. We hate Scientology. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.
Doing it and doing